Today I'm going to show you how to thread a sewing machine, but not just one. We're actually going to do several. Although the concept is the same, there are a few differences that can make it just a little bit confusing. So with this information, hopefully you'll be able to thread any machine that you come across. The first machine that we are going to look at today is the Singer 221. Just keep in mind that this information is going to apply to machines with a similar tension as this model. All right, let's go ahead and lift up our presser foot and then rotate the hand wheel towards us until the take-up spring is in the highest position. Now we can grab our spool of thread, bring that thread over to that first thread guide. Take the thread around the tension and up to the check spring. Once you reach the check spring, go ahead and hold your spool of thread, and then with your left hand, bring it over to the right with just a little tension until that check spring pops into the guide. And then you can put the thread behind the bar. Put your thread through the take-up. And now you could take the thread down to the little thread guide and pop it in there. If you can't pop it in, you can just thread it through the top. Then you've got your needle clamp thread guide. I'm going to be using a manual needle threader because this machine does not have an automated needle threader. Also, this machine threads from right to left, not front to back. When I first started sewing, I thought every single machine threaded from front to back. So it's always a good idea, just double check your manual, make sure that you are threading it properly. All right, that came through just fine. I'm going to go ahead and put the thread underneath the foot and then pull a couple inches back and we're all done. The next machine is going to be a basic mechanical machine. Once again, the information is going to apply to machines with a similar tension as this model. All right, go ahead and shut off your machine, lift up your presser foot. Using your hand wheel, go ahead and rotate it counterclockwise towards you until this little mark is facing up. Now pull up your spool pin. Place your spool of thread on the spool pin with your thread coming off towards the front. Then you can bring your thread right over to the guide and bring it down the channel. We're going to bring the thread around the tension. And then when you bring it up, keep it towards the right. And then bring it all the way around on the left. And then down the channel. Now you've got your needle clamp thread guide. Just go ahead and take the thread and pop that in there. Now that the thread is in the tension discs, you can go ahead and lower your foot. It just makes it easier to thread your needle. Once again, I'm going to use the manual needle threader so we can make this nice and easy. We'll see if it'll cooperate while I'm on video. There we go. Okay, and then you can just use the little hook to pull that thread right on through, just like that. Lift up your presser foot, place your thread underneath the foot and behind once again. The next machine is the Janome HD1000. This one is considered a heavy-duty machine, so it does thread a little bit different, so I wanted to show you this particular one. Also, it does have a needle threader, so that's kind of fun since we haven't seen that yet. Okay, we're going to go ahead and rotate our hand wheel towards us until that take-up comes to the highest position. Then lift up your presser foot. Place your spool of thread on the top, bringing it over to the first guide. Here's where I was talking about. We're actually going to go to the left side, and then there's a check spring and a little guide. You just need to bring it around, and then bring your thread up and keep it to the left, and then bring it around to the right of the take-up and pull it down. You're going to pop it into the first guide, and then there's a second guide. Now we're going to go down to the needle clamp thread guide. We're just going to pop that in as well. Go ahead and rotate your hand wheel to bring your needle to the highest position so we can use that needle threader. Perfect. Okay, pull that down and the hook will come through the eye of the needle. Bring the thread over to the left And then bring it over to the right and hold it softly and then release. And you've got a loop. Grab your thread, pull it through. You know the drill, bring it underneath and leave a few inches behind. Perfect. Last but not least, we are going to discuss one of these fancy machines. I just love this thing. Okay, press the needle up down button. That is going to put your needle in the appropriate position for when we thread the machine in a little bit. Now you can click the lockout button. That's going to drop your presser foot, and then it's also going to automatically open your tension discs for threading. You got to do that to make sure that it's threaded properly. Now go ahead and grab your spool of thread. We are going to put that right on the spool pin. And grab my cap. Okay. There we go. Now with your thread in both hands, go ahead and put it around the guide, and then there's a numbered path to follow. Floss it back and forth, you'll hear it click in. Okay, bring your thread down the channel, following that numbered path. When you get to the top, keep it to the right, and then follow it around and down. Then you'll bring it all the way down the channel, and there will be a little thread guide down at the bottom. Then there's also a needle clamp thread guide next, and then you can bring your thread over to the needle threader. Oops, there we go. Okay, now pull it over to the left and you can cut off your thread. Press the needle threader lever down, and your needle's all threaded. Isn't that just cool? All right, lastly, once again, grab that thread, unlock your machine, and it'll lift up your presser foot for you. Put the thread behind, and you have now learned how to thread 4 machines.
Thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned something. Please make sure that you go ahead and like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment. Tell me what frustration you have with your tension. Make sure you visit us at sewingpartsonline.com where we can help you with all your sewing needs. Until next time, happy sewing, everybody!